Two, one. Hello and welcome to the DP Oddcast. My name's Johnny and this is Josh, and we're here to talk about a bunch of just really weird stuff. We're going to be here for who knows how long, just taking up your time and talking about anything. So like I said, I'm Johnny. I'm a new father as of September 28th, and this is Josh. Why don't you tell me a little something about you, Josh?
Well, you already touched on my name. My name is Josh. I've been in the fathering and parenting game a little bit longer. I have a 9-year-old son. I work for a vape shop on the daily, and this is I'm here now, ready to rock out, man.
Ready to rock out with our cocks out. That's what.
Hell yeah.
Oh man. So yeah, man, being a dad, that is. Where do you think that falls on the list of hard shit that you've had to do in your life scale between 1 and 10?
I mean, it was a lot more difficult when they were younger, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm. I remember the the first 3 weeks of my son's life, honest to God, they're just a fucking blur. I brought that up with Rachel the other day. I was trying to think back so hard. I remember the first few days of his life, the first few days being home and just thinking to myself, wow. I remember waking up, nothing, waking up again to him crying, more nothing. And then like around a month old when we were taking his 1 month pictures, that whole period of time, honestly, I think it's the transition from being, I guess, a bachelor, which I don't really know if I'd consider myself that because we've been dating for so long, but into fatherhood, that's just completely different. I know, yeah.
No, that's for sure. No, I mean, I say they're more difficult when they were younger, but I mean, I can only anticipate the hardships that I'm going to, endure as my son enters, his teenage years. I'm getting all rebellious and everything,
Already.
Being myself as rebellious as I was, I can't even imagine the stuff I'm in for.
You're really pissing me off, Dad.
Yeah. Fug bug.
That was easily one of my favorite times, just driving home with him.
Yeah, a little background for our listeners. We were driving home because we work together. We were driving home last week, I believe, and we had my son in the car. And I had slipped up and said a curse word. I said fuck. I said fucking. And he. We didn't think that he was even listening to us because he was on his phone. And, out of nowhere, he just turns around and he's like, that is a fucking airplane. And what do you say to a 9-year-old when they just repeat word for word? I mean, not really word for word because he was just contradicting what I was saying. I said it wasn't a fucking airplane. And he said it was a fucking airplane. But yeah, no, and then, I turned around and I was like, what did you just say, young man? Like, what was that? And he's like, fug, fug bug.
I loved how he tried to pass it off like he wasn't just using a dirty word. That was my favorite thing. And you're over there telling him, you can't say that. And he just looks at you and goes, fug bug. Like
I didn't understand what he was saying.
Well, it's like he was looking at you and trying to prove, like, I can fucking say it. I just said it. Oh, man. I love that kid so much. He's so funny, honestly. And for 9 years old, oh, man. I think when was the first time I met him? That was 2 years ago, so he was 7.
Yeah.
He just turned 7, too, because I think when I started working here...
It was like February time period, March, something
I think
like
it was
that.
March. It was either March 1st or March 3rd. I always get those days mixed up. But that... Oh, man. Oh, God. He's changed so much, because I remember when you first brought him to work that day, he was so, like, quiet and, just wanted to play and go in the elevator and stuff. And now you're just always pissing him off. Like that's oh my God, it's crazy how much a kid can change in that amount of time. And like I think about him, and then I think about my kid, who he's only 4.5. I mean, he's gonna be 5 months in a couple of days. What is it? The 25th? Yeah, he's gonna be 5 months in 3 days. And I just think about that and how much he's doubled in size easily. And he's gone from just, only being able to like wake up to poop and scream to waking up and wanting and just requiring that attention. And like it's so different because now he is sleeping a little more, but now he's way more awake and we are just way more tired. It's and the ratio is just ridiculous. I love him though, honestly. I couldn't imagine a single day without him at this point. It's, and I think about the days before I was a dad too, and I don't think I would trade fucking literally anything in this world. What's going on there? What's going on there? Battery shaking?
Yeah.
Wow, the screen was all messed up too. Oh man. For anyone that's listening, Josh is experiencing some minor vape difficulties because we're those kinds of people.
Hipsters. No.
Hipsters.
No, don't even know.
Well, you don't want to be a hipster?
I mean, my girlfriend would refer to me as a hipster. She does refer to me as a hipster. I would never identify as a hipster. I don't know. No offense to hipsters.
No offense to hipsters. Peace and love. Oh my God. Let me ask you, do you think your son's mother, especially like right in the beginning, I know there was some other history that we won't really touch on for right now unless at any point you feel the need to, but who do you think had it harder or even potentially still does, despite I know she has other children, like who do you think with your son specifically had a harder time in the beginning?
I mean, honestly, her, definitely. I'm not even gonna try to claim that because she's, as a mother, they're going to be, almost primal in their instincts with their children. Yeah. And, that's their number one, thing. So that really takes over, for the first, 2 to 3 years, they had a bond that was, envious of me, I mean? Like I couldn't even compare at that point in time because, she was feeding him, all that stuff. So she was like his life at that point. And I was just, the guy that came home after work at the end of the day and, picked him up and, played with him for a little bit and put him back down when he went to bed. So in the beginning, definitely her. As time went on, certain experiences and circumstances led to, different things. Yeah. Yeah, no. So I would say post 3 years old, I definitely, took over that mantle. But, even to this day, like, that's not to say that she doesn't do anything now. You know what I mean? Like, there was some time of absence in her regard. But, now, she's definitely, kicked it up a notch. And, she's a good mom. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, what... But, yeah, no. Definitely that first 2 years I'd say is 100% baby and mom. That's gonna be it. I'm sure you can already see that with your son.
Yeah, I mean with my son, I mean I don't know. I mean obviously compared to yours, your son is 9 years old now. You guys have a much tighter relationship. My son clearly is more comfortable with Rachel. I can't remember if I mentioned who Rachel is already, but Rachel is my fiance. But yeah, my son he's clearly like he's comforted more by her, but I don't know. I make him laugh more, like I pick him up and I mess with him, and I can clearly see that she has it way harder. I think that's just moms though, all the way around. If you're a good mom. If you're a good mom, it is probably going to be more difficult for you in the beginning. I feel like as it goes on, as your child ages, maybe it evens out a little more. But I feel like if you're, especially men, I don't really care what anyone says. Feminism, that's all good and well, whatever. But at the end of the day, for the most part, you know, I think at least the men are still primarily the breadwinners. There are a lot more women in the workplace. I'm definitely taking this in a much more political direction than I should be right now. But I feel like, you know, for the most part with like the baby boomer generation and like the earlier millennials and stuff like that, I feel like there's still, you know, predominantly, you know,
I mean,
the
statistically
father.
at this point, I mean, I feel like you'd be hard pressed to hold that up because right now, like women constitute a greater majority in the college entrance, college acceptance, you know, graduating and everything like that post college. I feel like in the next probably like 10 to 15 years, you're going to see a significant jump in the amount of women you see in the workplace and high executive level, you know,
I definitely believe it.
positions. So I mean, that's just speaking to education and everything that's going on right now. But yeah, no, I have no idea why we're here.
Yeah, I don't know how we got here. Yeah, no, back to what we were saying. Yeah, no, being, I think being a dad is, you know, I can't really say 100% that it's easier. I mean, I guess you could argue that it is. Being a parent all the way around is hard. You know, I feel like women, you know, good mothers, you know, I don't care if you're breastfeeding, you know, formula, whatever, you know, whoever wakes up in the middle of the night, you know, the mother has to go through those 9 months, you know, or however long, you know, to term is for them. And, you know, they give birth and they have this relationship with this child. And I don't know where I'm going at this point.
I don't know. I just remember the salt in the air because my son's first words, you know, even through it all, you know, with her being, you know, there at home, being a stay-at-home mom and being with him all the time, his first words were "dad, dad." And I remember the phone call. Then she called me and she's like, he just talked. And I'm like, oh my God, like, what did he say? And she's like, "Dad, dad." And she sounded so disappointed, but happy, but disappointed at the same time. Like she was really hoping for mom, or maybe even bottle, but not fucking.
Oh my God! Yeah, no, I tell Rachel all the time. Like I really hope his first word is daddy or something like that. But at the same time, when he cries, I don't know. He definitely doesn't mean to do this, but when he cries, the way that he moves his mouth, it sounds like he's just going, "Mama," and then just screaming. And oh my God, it's just crazy. It's just crazy the changes in our lives. Do you think? And this is, I guess, kind of a broad question at this point. Like, what do you think of, you know, fatherhood in adulthood thus far compared to what you thought it was like when you were a kid watching your parents do it all?
Oh my God. Oh my God. I mean, even moving up to being like 16 to like 18 years old, I had this like romanticized idea of like what being an adult was going to be like.
Yeah.
I thought the real world was going to be like all, you know, rainbows and unicorns. Like the shit was going to be grand. Like, oh man, we're all shitting rainbows. Like there's no worries here. No. You know, I mean, I graduated, you know, high school in 2008. You know, I was, I voted for Obama at the time.
Good for you.
My young, naive mind. You know, hoping for, you know, some hope and change, but that being that never came, you know, I found different avenues and whatever. Being an adult has definitely... I mean, I'd never anticipated that I was going to have a kid at 20, if I'm being honest. Moving from, you know, childhood, teenage years, I'm not going to lie, I had zero anticipation or intentions of having a child. When the mother of my child, when she got pregnant, being 20 years old and her being, or well, she was 19, or I was 19, and she was 3 years my 3 years younger than me. So she was 16. For everyone listening, that is legal here in Michigan. Yeah, no, that was significantly difficult. Mainly because I didn't stick with college. You know, if I would have stuck with school and all of that, I feel like I would be in a significantly different place than I am right now. But
Mm-hmm.
honestly, like I wouldn't change anything that's happened.
Mm-hmm. Not even how old you were?
No, honestly, like I'm kind of happy that at this point that I had my son so young, and because I'm young enough that I can play with him and go on playgrounds and stuff like that, and while it might look funny to people looking in,
Mm-hmm.
It's still fun for me and him, and he has someone to play with, even when his friends aren't around. So that's pretty cool. Knowing that he's gonna be 18 when I'm 38,
Yeah.
that's pretty nice.
I feel like that's something that a lot of people don't totally think of, because being my son was born in September, my 23rd birthday was in July. I feel like something that a lot of people criticize, but don't really think about, is the fact that the longer that you wait to have a child, and I consciously, like, my son was not a mistake. He was not an oopsie baby. I wanted to have him. Rachel and I talked about it for a while, and we felt we had a strong enough bond, and that we could raise a child together. And we had my son, and I don't regret it at all. I know there's probably people out there who think, like, 23, that's so young. You were 20.
Right.
You know exactly what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there were definitely people that were like, "Fucking Josh."
Dog,
Josh is having a kid.
the way that people talk to me, just talking down to me, the condescension, just it was hard to deal with, because it wasn't just family members and stuff, and like my family members who for my entire life preaching responsibility and owning up to my errors, and taking responsibility for what I did, telling me to essentially like run.
Yeah.
Run. And I remember calling my parents and being like, this is not how you raised me.
Yeah.
Like, I need to own up to what I did, and I need to be there for my son. Honestly, that's something that bothers my parents, like, to this day, because as you've seen them with my son, they love my kid.
Yeah.
And the fact, like, they even talk to me about it from time to time. Like, they tell me how much they regret. Like, that's like one of their biggest regrets in their life, was ever telling me to do that. And yeah, this is dark and deep, man.
It's okay, man. That's why it's called the DP Oddcast, man. We're talking about a lot of different things, and it's gonna get weird, and it's gonna get dark and deep, and at times, hopefully pretty funny shit like that. I just want to touch on one thing. If you're one of those, to all of our listeners, maybe I'll like bore you right now, but anyone that is listening, if you're one of those judgy people against someone who has a child at 20 or 23 or whatever, you can go fuck yourself, because that shit is not cool, okay? I know a lot of, and Josh is a good example. I know of people who have become parents significantly younger, who have ended up better parents than people, who had their children at like 30, 35, whatever, with established careers or whatever you want to call it. I
mean, heck, that helps, but I don't think that a job or your status in life really qualifies you for parenting. I feel like that's just on a personal level, whether or not you can really handle that. And I don't think anyone knows, going into it. Like, I'm sure you can attest, going into having a child, you don't know. You can read all the fucking books you want.
Yeah.
But there is nothing that will ever prepare you for the child that you have, because those are all books written about someone else's kid.
Yeah. That is.
So that is like not applicable. It's literally you're reading something and it might as well have the stamp invalid on it. I mean, there are good ideas. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying, hey, fuck these people. I'm just saying they're probably not going to work for your kid.
I feel like when people write books like those, they have phenomenal intentions. I respect the shit out of it. I've read numerous parenting books at this point. I'm reading one right now. I feel like they're good baselines. They're good for you to build off your own ideas. Because definitely no two children are the same, And like you said, these people are writing about one specific child or their own children or whatever. You know, it's hard to generalize all kids because all kids are different and psychotic and hilarious and everything in their own ways. You know, I don't know.
Like some parenting techniques will work and some won't, and you just have to improvise. That's pretty much the entire game of parenting.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, really, you realize it, and then you kind of look back and like look at like your parents and like how they parented you, and you're just like, oh shit, like I was a little asshole. Yeah. And they were just, they were just winging it too. Like goddamn, like you got to give them credit at that point. Like, props, mom and dad. That was
Yeah. You know what? Actually, let's touch on that for a sec. What kind of kid were you, Josh?
Oh my god. I mean, I was the kind of kid that like when I was talking to parents and talking to adults, you would think that I was the most amazing, well-behaved, polite child you had ever met. But man, in the dark, I was breaking shit. I was just doing stuff like for no reason. Yeah. I don't know, man. Like there was some times, like looking back on it, I was a little hellion. That's for sure. Yeah. I gave my parents hell, and I give them props for being able to handle that shit because. Yeah, and God forbid, man, if the saying's true that you get what you gave your parents, like times 10, like I'm screwed.
Yeah, no, I definitely was not the easiest kid to deal with. Even I think I'm significantly better today, but let's be honest, I'm sure you still cause your parents just a little bit of shit here and there.
I mean.
Just the smallest amount compared to what
really,
it used to be.
At this point, like, no offense to my pops, but like I don't really talk to him that much. Yeah. He's doing his thing. My mom's around a lot, and while she is around a lot, like, I think I pissed my mom off up until I was probably like 23, 23, 20, maybe even 25. But after that, pretty much when I started dating Brianna, my current girlfriend. Yeah, no, things pretty much changed. Yeah, no, I don't really cause my mom too much problems. I just cause Brianna a lot of problems, I guess.
See, one thing I've noticed about myself, I definitely don't cause the same problems that I used to. But it's so funny because I feel like the problems that I do cause at this point, like if I cause my mom or my dad any grief whatsoever, it is completely accidental, or it is just I was talking to them. Yeah, I was just talking to them. My son did this, that, whatever, and then just out of nowhere, I'll hear like, oh, so we're not good enough to get a fucking picture, a video of my fucking grandson here and there, some shit like that, and I don't know what to tell them. I don't know what to tell them because I want you can't record all of the moments.
Right.
And
you do your best, but geez.
Yeah.
At the same time, like, I don't know, like, you try to record all the moments and all that stuff, but at the same time, you want to experience them. And that's something that I kind of diverted from at some point in my son's life. Like, I realized that, recording him and everything was great. And, I have all of these pictures and videos, like, so many of his first, like, honestly, even up till now, I'm not going to lie, I still take tons of fucking videos of this kid. But at the same time, like, the videos are short. They're not, like, really long videos of him playing or something because I'm trying to involve myself in experience and try to, have those memories with him rather than just having those memories on camera.
Yeah.
I don't know. My kid's on his phone a lot, so...
Yeah, this wasn't even like solely about the recording. I think that was just one example, but just something funny I think about my son is that at this point, I don't know. I know he doesn't know what it is, but if I pull out my phone and I go to try to record him and he's just laughing or doing
he stops.
Fucking anything, he just stops. He stops and looks at it. If he was just smiling, no longer smiling. He just stops and looks at the camera. He's not camera shy at all. He's the funniest kid. Oh my God, I love him so much. I could literally talk about this kid for hours. I feel like we got off the topic though.
Well, let me ask. Let's divert topics a little bit. I want to ask you a question.
Sure, ask me anything.
Dude, Captain Marvel.
Captain Marvel. Okay.
Captain Marvel. Are you excited to see Captain Marvel? Are you going to see Captain Marvel? Are we going to see Captain Marvel?
I think.
I feel like we have to. Like, I'm dedicated at this point.
Yeah.
Like, but I don't know, man.
Is it like 19 movies now from Iron Man to Infinity War? I think there was 18 on the in-between there. So I think Infinity War was 19.
Well, Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Yeah.
So are we at 20? I don't know.
Yeah, no, I think I'm definitely going to see Captain Marvel. You know, I think we have to, honestly, we have to see it. We've seen it, literally all of the other ones that have come out since I started working here, really just since I came back to Michigan.
Right.
It's I think I lived here consecutively for 6 months. I took a short vacation. I went overseas, and then I came back, and I stayed in New Jersey for a little while at my parents' house.
I wanted to kill myself.
Yeah, it wasn't quite that. I was definitely experiencing some issues, you know.
I was just kidding. I'm sorry.
Oh no! It's not like I was experiencing like I'm gonna kill myself kind of issues. No, I was just experiencing some, personal issues, in my relationships and being back home with my parents and everything because I'd been so used to being on my own for so long. It just more or less, it reached the point where, I had to come back to Michigan. Rachel was here too. She couldn't really handle being there. I came back to Michigan and this is completely off topic. I was jobless for 3 months. Then I got this job. Me and you became homies. And now, now we just geek out about Marvel all the time. Yeah, this is probably something we're going to talk about a pretty decent amount, be it, something about Josh's comic books or about movies and stuff. We are a couple of we're the geekiest people I know, if I'm going to be honest. I wouldn't call it nerdy. We don't like math. Fuck math. Oh, my God.
Well, yeah, I mean, I do have a half sleeve in progress of Marvel characters, so that does attest to the geekiness of the matter. Mm-hmm. Which I do need to figure out some things in regards to what's going on there. So if anyone has any ideas for some Marvel characters, scenes from comic books, anything like that to go on my sleeve, let me know.
Baby Groot.
I've
been rooting for that one for a while.
He doesn't make sense, man. He doesn't flow.
It has to. You'll figure it out. Doesn't matter. Oh, man. Now I'm just thinking about Captain Marvel. Just Infinity War as a whole, man. That movie. I've seen it 4 times last month. It came out months ago, and I've seen it.
I can't help watching it on Netflix.
Yeah. I got the DVD. I put that on, too. Oh, my God. So now let's talk about something that I've been really interested in for a little while now. I've been talking to you about it for a couple of days. The whole Hoda Muthana thing. I think that's how you pronounce her name, at least. I think she was raised in Alabama. Where is it? Gotta find this real quick. She was born in Hackensack, New Jersey, so Bergen County, New Jersey. It's a few towns away from where I grew up. The father of an Alabama college student. Yeah, so she went to college in Alabama. She dropped out and used her tuition money to move to Turkey, and she got involved with ISIS. And now her father has started, or he's suing the government over her right to return. So, little small piece of backstory behind her. She left. She's now 24, so she left when she was 20. She had a child with someone involved in ISIS who is now 18 months old, and she wants to come back. She's willing to face federal charges for having done what she did by leaving the country, getting involved with ISIS. Now she wants to come back in so that her child can have a better life. And Trump will not let her in. If I'm going to be honest, I don't really agree with Trump on that much. But I have to say, you turn to ISIS, fuck you. I'm sorry. There's a lot, that I guess can be forgiven. It's not like she shoplifted from the White House fucking gift shop. No, she left the country and turned to ISIS. Like, what do you think of this? I know you have a lot more in-depth knowledge on Trump, so I definitely want to hear your take on this whole thing. Because she's not the only one, and I know you know about the other one at this point.
Yeah, no, I mean, look, you left the country. You joined ISIS. What is there to talk about? I mean, come on. It's essentially like saying no. Yeah, no, I agree with Trump. No, I would not let her back in this country. I don't think there's any if, ands, or buts about it. Like, I mean, if she comes back, cool. But I don't know, like, what kind of things that I would entitle her to. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, I don't know if I would allow her to come back as a U.S. citizen. Mm-hmm. At that point, because did she renounce her citizenship? I mean,
no, she never renounced her citizenship, and I don't think she actually technically became a Turkish citizen.
Okay, well, okay, so in my eyes, then yeah, no, you gotta let her back in. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, she's a citizen, you know. So yeah, bring her back. Legally speaking, yeah, absolutely, bring her back in. And prosecute her to the fullest extent of the law. But at the same time...
She was in Syria. Sorry, she was in Syria. She went to Turkey when she first left, but she was in Syria.
Yeah.
And she's willing to face federal charges against...
Yeah, no, I mean, let her do her thing. At this point, I mean, you can't really argue at that point. You know, she's a U.S. citizen. Mm-hmm. You know, if she had renounced her citizenship mm-hmm. or something like that, then yeah. But, you know, being a U.S. citizen... I would find it hard to, you know, constitutionally or legally speaking, keep her out. Mm-hmm. You know, like, she has the right to do that, as much as I hate to say that, you know. Mm-hmm. Like, she's obviously a piece of shit. Like, I'm sorry. but I mean, yeah, no, being a U.S. citizen, you have those rights, and she deserves the right to trial. And, you know, I feel like she should get it. And I feel like mm-hmm. any judge... is going to rule heavily against her at that point. Yeah. I mean, they're going, like, I feel like, I don't know, I'm not too hip on, you know, these transitional citizens, so I don't know how they've been prosecuted in the past, or how many of them, or whether or not this is a regular thing. Mm-hmm. But if it's not as regular as I'm thinking it is, if it's, you know, as random as this woman and the other woman in the UK, you know, just being two different countries and everything. Mm-hmm. If it's as random as that, they're going to want to make an example out of her. Yeah. And they're going to prosecute her hard. Mm-hmm. And honestly, let them. Like, that's going to be phenomenal. Yeah. Make an example.
I think the example in the UK, or the woman in the UK, she claims she was tricked, and she wants to be, I guess,
well, didn't she go when she was like 14 or something?
Yeah, no, it was something. I don't know if it was when she was 14. I know she fled London and joined ISIS joined the Islamic State, I should say, in 2015. I'd play the clip right now, but it's not that important. I just think she's just an interesting example. Let me ask you, though, despite the fact that right now, Trump and the Trump administration are not letting her back in, Miss Muthana, or whatever her last name is, they're not letting her back in. What about her son? Just as a father, you know, like, your kid is everything. I'm sure you would do whatever you could to give your son a significantly better life than what you currently have. You know, you don't have a bad life right now. I'm not comparing you to ISIS girl over here. But, you know, you know what it's like to want better for your kid, you know? Is trying to escape Syria or the Islamic State right now, you know? And they're not letting her in. Her being still a U.S. citizen, just having, you know, moved over to a significantly worse state. You know, she wants to come back, bring her child, and face the charges herself. Do you think the U.S. should, at the very least, bring the child in, or take in the child, be it to the parents or some kind of government custody at that point?
Oh, man. Oh, man.
Welcome to 60 Minutes, everybody.
Holy shit. Yeah, this is going to sound terrible. So I apologize ahead of time.
Viewer discretion is advised.
She's a U.S. citizen, and she deserves to be put on trial. That child, is that child technically a U.S. citizen?
I mean, he was born in...
Syria, Turkey.
He was born in like Syria or Turkey, one or the other. I don't know. Just reading up on this, this specific case a little bit. I don't know. Personally, both of my parents were born in different parts of Portugal. My mom was born in the Azores on Portuguese islands. My dad was born in the mainland in a little village called Gotu. And I don't know. That being said, actually, a very different scenario because both of my parents were both technically legal citizens when I was born, but I had to apply for dual citizenship. And I'm pretty sure even if you're on vacation somewhere, and again, I'm pretty sure, I'm not 100% sure, if you're born in a different country, be it on like a month-long vacation or something, aren't you technically considered so if you went on vacation to Italy today with Brianna and you went to Italy for a month and your child was born like a week into being in Italy, would you have to change your child's citizenship
No.
at that point?
So, no, I was just looking it up. No, so the child, being a child who's born to the U.S. citizen parents, or in some cases in some cases to only one U.S. citizen parent outside the U.S. may automatically become a United States citizen. So, the child's a citizen. Fuck. So bring the kid over. Unfortunately, I feel like the kid should probably go into adoption because that mother does not seem mentally capable of handling that kind of stuff, being that she joined ISIS. Clearly not the best decision maker in the world there. So probably like child services, probably taking the kid would probably be the best alternative to everything in mind. I mean, you're not going to put the child in prison with the mom. I mean, I know that's a thing that happens, but I don't know. That seems a little...
Yeah, I don't know.
She did some fucked up shit.
I feel like it's especially kind of a harder case because like she was 20. Like she was 20 and in college. She was very, very aware of what she was doing when she left. And I don't know. I mean, I guess this is like the nationalist part of me. But you left for ISIS. Probably the biggest threat to the United States right now.
Not really anymore.
That's actually, yeah, that's true. That's true. You haven't really heard anything about that. Knock on wood. Knock, knock. Definitely heard that. But I don't know. It's definitely a tough situation. But yeah, I think I think we've probably covered everything at this point for EP1 at least.
Dog, are you serious?
You got something else?
Yeah, I got a question for you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We're in Michigan.
Yeah.
We're right outside Detroit, Michigan.
Yeah.
Just past November, they legalized marijuana. What do you think about that, my friend?
I think that's all good and well for those who partake in the marijuanas. So, I support legalizing marijuana. I don't partake. That part of my life is well past.
Well past.
Well past.
Well past.
I do enjoy a good drink though, which I feel like we're definitely gonna have for the next one of these.
Yeah, probably. What kind of drink though?
Scotch.
Scotch.
We gotta get scotch. Talking so much shit about it this morning.
Let's drink some fucking gasoline.
Oh my god. So if anyone has any ideas on what we can drink next time, just go ahead and let us know. That's definitely something very appealing to me at the very least. If you have a good strain that you want Josh to try, you can let him know too. So I think that's probably everything for us. I'm Johnny.
And I'm Josh.
And this is the DP Oddcast. Thanks for tuning in.
Deuce, bitches.
Deuces, bitches.